The sun blazed down on a seemingly ordinary Saturday afternoon, casting a warm golden hue over the bustling streets of downtown. Families strolled along the sidewalk, laughter mingling with the clinking of glasses from nearby cafes. In the heart of this vibrant city lay Culinary Bliss, a restaurant renowned not just for its gourmet menu but for its commitment to community and inclusivity. On any given day, its outdoor seating overflowed with patrons enjoying delightful meals. But today was different. Maya Thompson, a radiant 28-year-old woman, approached the restaurant with a hopeful smile, her hand resting gently on her round belly. She was pregnant with her first child, and this outing was supposed to be a joyful celebration. Her husband, Jordan Thompson, had insisted they try this place after hearing rave reviews about its unique dishes and cozy atmosphere. Little did Mia know that this day would soon turn into a test of patience and dignity. As Mia stepped onto the patio, she was greeted by the hostess, a young woman named Emily, who appeared to be in her own world. Emily was busy scrolling through her phone, her eyes glued to the screen as she absent-mindedly pointed towards the sign-in sheet. Mia, feeling the heat radiate off the pavement and into her skin, stepped forward to announce herself, her excitement palpable. "Hi, I'm here to check in for our reservation, Thompson," she said, trying to keep her voice cheerful despite the discomfort of the heat. Emily glanced up briefly, her expression remaining unchanged. "Yeah, just a minute," she replied, barely making eye contact as she continued tapping on her phone. Mia's heart sank. Was this how she would be treated on a day meant for celebration? As Mia waited, she watched the restaurant's patio fill up with other diners. Families were seated promptly, their laughter and animated conversations creating a lively atmosphere. A couple with a small child was shown to a table just a few feet away, while another group of friends, giggling and sipping cocktails, was escorted to a prime spot overlooking the street. The sun beat down relentlessly, and Mia could feel beads of sweat trickling down her back. "Excuse me," Mia said again, raising her voice slightly to capture Emily's attention. "We have a reservation. I think you might have missed us." This time, Emily looked up, her brow slightly furrowed, as if she had just realized Mia was standing there. "Hold on," she said, annoyance creeping into her tone. She flipped through the reservation book, barely giving Mia a second glance. "I don't see your name. Are you sure you booked it for today?" Mia felt her cheeks flush. "Yes, it was for 2, under Thompson. I confirmed it yesterday." She tried to maintain her composure, but she could feel frustration bubbling beneath the surface. Emily sighed and glanced over her shoulder, surveying the crowded patio. "Well, it's going to be a while. You might need to wait," she replied, her tone dismissive. Without offering further assistance, Emily turned away, leaving Mia standing in the heat, feeling increasingly invisible. As the minutes dragged on, Mia's excitement turned into irritation. She could see other patrons enjoying their meals, while she was left standing alone, heat radiating off the pavement. She thought about Jordan, who was on his way from the nearby office where he worked. He would be here any moment, and she wanted everything to be perfect for them. In her mind, Mia painted a picture of their day. After brunch, they would stroll hand in hand through the nearby park, enjoying the blooming flowers and the anticipation of their new arrival. But now, that vision felt more like a mirage than a reality. She could hear her mother's voice echoing in her head, reminding her of the importance of patience, especially during pregnancy. "Take a deep breath, Mia. This is just a moment," she whispered to herself, attempting to calm her nerves. But patience was waning thin. Why should she have to stand here alone? Did the hostess not see her, or was she simply disregarded? Each passing minute felt like an eternity. As she shifted her weight from one foot to the other, she could feel the discomfort of her pregnancy amplify under the relentless sun. Finally, as if sensing the tension in the air, a couple of diners at a nearby table turned to look at her, their expressions a mixture of concern and confusion. One woman leaned over to her companion and whispered, "Is she waiting for a table?" Mia caught snippets of their conversation, and her heart sank further. She felt like a mere afterthought, an inconvenience rather than a valued guest. Just then, she spotted Jordan making his way through the crowd, his tall frame and broad shoulders cutting through the mass of people like a beacon of hope. He waved, a bright smile lighting up his face as he approached. "Mia, I'm so glad I found you. I was worried you were lost," he said, his tone cheerful, unaware of the frustration that had been building inside her. "Jordan," she said, forcing a smile as she gestured towards Emily, who was still occupied with her phone. "We have a reservation, but I don't think we're getting seated anytime soon." Jordan's smile faltered as he looked around the crowded patio, then back at Mia. "What do you mean? You've been waiting?" Mia nodded, her heart racing. "I've been standing here for almost 30 minutes. The hostess doesn't seem to care, and I feel like I'm melting out here." Jordan's brow furrowed with concern as he stepped closer, placing a protective hand on her back. "Let me handle this," he said, his tone shifting from playful to serious. "We'll get this sorted out." As he approached the hostess station, Mia watched, her stomach twisting with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. Little did they know that this moment would set off a chain of events that neither of them could have anticipated. Jordan, always calm and collected, addressed Emily with a firm but polite tone. "Excuse me, can you please check on the reservation for Thompson? My wife has been waiting for a long time." Emily's expression shifted slightly as she glanced at Jordan, but the flicker of recognition didn't seem to register in her eyes. "I'm busy right now. I'll get to it when I can," she replied, dismissing him. Jordan's jaw tightened, and Mia could sense the tension rising. She wanted to intervene but knew that this was Jordan's moment to take the lead. In the background, the sound of laughter and clinking glasses faded as Mia's heart raced. She felt the weight of her husband's frustration, and in that moment, she understood just how deep the roots of this misunderstanding were destined to grow. This opening sets the scene, introduces the main characters, and establishes the initial conflict while hinting at the larger story to unfold. If you'd like any adjustments or additional details, let me know. Here's an expanded and unique version of Part 2 for the story titled "Hostess Leaves Black Pregnant Woman Waiting in the Sun, Unbeknownst to Her Husband's True Identity." This part builds on the tension and deepens the characters' experiences. Part 2. The Waiting Game. Mia stood by the entrance of culinary bliss, the sun beating down on her as she watched Jordan confront Emily. The tension in the air felt almost palpable, and her heart raced as she tried to gauge how the situation would unfold. It was supposed to be a beautiful day, one filled with laughter, delicious food, and the anticipation of their upcoming journey into parenthood. Instead, she felt a knot of frustration tightening in her stomach. Jordan's voice was steady, yet there was an undercurrent of irritation that Mia hadn't heard before. "I just want to know why we haven't been seated yet. My wife has been waiting outside, and we have a reservation," he reiterated, his eyes locked onto Emily's with a mixture of confusion and annoyance. Emily, still glued to her phone, glanced up with a distracted look. "Like I said, I'll get to it when I can. We're busy today," she replied dismissively, her tone lacking any hint of empathy. Mia could see the flush of indignation creeping up Jordan's neck. He had always been a protector, someone who stood up for what was right, but she had never seen him confront someone in the service industry like this. Normally, he would diffuse the situation with humor or a gentle approach, but today was different. Today, they were both on edge. As Mia watched the interaction, she felt her emotions swelling, a combination of anger, disappointment, and a deep sense of vulnerability. Why did she feel invisible? Why did her presence, and that of her unborn child, seem to be overlooked? The heat of the sun was becoming unbearable, and she could feel her patience waning. Just then, Mia's phone buzzed in her pocket. It was a text from her mother, checking in on her and asking about the restaurant. "We're at Culinary Bliss. Can't wait to tell you all about it," she typed quickly, trying to project some semblance of normalcy despite the mounting frustration. She hit send and looked back at the entrance, where Jordan was still engaged in a tense exchange with Emily. "Listen," Jordan said, his voice firm but calm. "We made a reservation. If you can't find it, maybe you could ask someone else for help. This isn't how customers should be treated." Emily finally looked up, her expression slightly defensive. "I'll get to it in a moment. Just hold on," she retorted, flipping her hair back dismissively. The way she looked at him, with a mix of annoyance and boredom, made Maya's stomach turn. Mia's heart sank even further as she observed the interaction. Why couldn't Emily just acknowledge the situation? It was a simple mistake that could easily be resolved with a bit of kindness. Instead, Maya felt the weight of the moment crushing down on her, and she suddenly longed for the comforting presence of her husband. As she shifted her weight from foot to foot, trying to relieve the pressure on her lower back, she could see Jordan's frustration growing. He had a way of maintaining his composure, but it was clear that the situation was pushing him to the edge. Mia admired that about him, his patience and kindness, but she also recognized that every person had their limits. "Can I speak to your manager?" Jordan asked, his tone firm but controlled. Emily's eyes widened slightly at the suggestion. "Fine, just a minute," she replied, huffing as she walked away from the hostess stand. Maya's heart raced as she watched her disappear inside the restaurant. Would the manager be more understanding? As they waited, Mia glanced around the patio. Other diners were engrossed in their meals, unaware of the brewing storm unfolding at the entrance. A couple at a nearby table laughed heartily, their plates piled high with gourmet dishes, while a group of friends snapped photos, capturing their joyful moments for social media. The contrast between their happiness and her own frustration felt stark and isolating. "Can you believe this?" Mia finally said, her voice low and filled with disbelief. "We come here to celebrate, and I'm left standing in the sun like I don't matter." Jordan turned to her, concern etched across his features. "You matter, Mia. You always have," he said, his voice soothing. "I'm so sorry this is happening. I'll make sure we get seated, and I'll talk to the manager about this. You deserve better than to be treated like this." Mia felt a flicker of gratitude at his words, but the lingering disappointment remained. She didn't want to make a scene, but her feelings of invisibility were becoming too much to bear. She thought about her own experiences, how often she had to navigate spaces where she felt overlooked or dismissed. Today, of all days, she just wanted to enjoy a meal with her husband without the burden of those societal expectations weighing down on her. As if sensing her turmoil, Jordan reached out and gently took her hand. "Let's focus on us, okay? Once we're inside, everything will be fine. We'll order some food, relax, and enjoy each other's company," he said, his grip reassuring. Mia nodded, but a part of her felt a storm brewing. She was tired of being the calm one, the understanding one, the one who simply smiled and moved on. Why should she have to fight for a seat at a restaurant? Why should she be made to feel like an inconvenience simply because of the color of her skin? Minutes felt like hours, and the heat continued to bear down on her. She felt the sweat trickling down her back, making her shirt stick uncomfortably to her skin. Just as Mia began to lose hope, she saw the restaurant's manager, a middle-aged man named Mr. Roberts, approaching them with a concerned look on his face. "Good afternoon," he said, his tone warm and inviting. "I've been informed that you've been waiting quite some time. I sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. Let me get you seated right away." Mia felt a rush of relief wash over her, but as she glanced at Jordan, she could see the lingering tension in his eyes. "Thank you," he replied, his voice steady. "We have a reservation under Thompson." Mr. Roberts nodded, motioning for Emily to step aside. "Please follow me," he said, leading them towards an empty table on the patio, shaded by a large umbrella. As they walked, Maya felt a mixture of gratitude and indignation. Mia couldn't help but wonder if Mr. Roberts would take the time to address the situation with Emily later. Would he acknowledge the bias she had faced? As they took their seats, she glanced back at the hostess, who was now scrolling through her phone again, oblivious to the impact of her actions. Once seated, the waiter approached with menus, and Mia tried to focus on the delicious options laid out before her. But even as she scanned the menu, her thoughts were racing. This day was supposed to be a celebration of their growing family, a moment to connect and dream about their future together. Instead, she felt unsettled. "Jordan," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I know we're finally seated, but I can't shake this feeling. This should have been a wonderful moment, and yet—" "I know," Jordan replied, his brow furrowing as he placed his hand on hers. "This isn't how it should be. You deserve to be treated with respect, especially while you're pregnant. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Let's not let it ruin our day, okay? We'll enjoy a great meal and make some memories." Mia appreciated his optimism, but as she gazed at the menu, the weight of the moment loomed over her. She couldn't ignore the underlying issues they faced, nor the reality that many people in their community were still battling against ignorance and bias. Just as Mia was about to respond, the waiter returned to take their order. She forced a smile and focused on selecting her favorite dishes, but the underlying tension remained. Little did they know, this day would not only change their lives, but also ripple through the lives of those around them in ways they could never have anticipated. The waiter, a young man with a friendly smile, took their drink orders and disappeared into the restaurant. Mia glanced at Jordan, who was still visibly tense from the earlier confrontation. She wanted to reach out to him, to ease the burden of the day's events, but she felt a swirl of conflicting emotions bubbling beneath the surface. "Are you okay?" Jordan asked, his voice laced with concern. "You've been awfully quiet since we got seated." Mia took a deep breath, trying to center herself. "I'm fine," she replied, though she knew it wasn't entirely true. "It's just everything that happened earlier. I feel like I should be celebrating, but instead, I feel, well, overlooked." Jordan's expression softened, and he reached across the table to take her hand. "I get it, and you have every right to feel that way. Just remember, it's our day. We're here to celebrate our little one." She smiled weakly, grateful for his reassurance. "You're right. I shouldn't let it overshadow our moment." Mia's mind raced with thoughts of their future. Nurseries, baby names, and the joy of becoming parents. She tried to shake off the negativity, focusing instead on the plans they had made for their family. As the waiter returned with their drinks, Maya felt a wave of warmth wash over her. "Here you go. 1 lemonade and 1 iced tea," he announced cheerfully, placing the glasses on the table. "Have you had a chance to look at the menu? We have some fantastic specials today." "Actually, yes," Jordan said, his tone brightening. "What do you recommend?" The waiter's eyes lit up as he eagerly shared the day's specials. "Our grilled salmon is a favorite, and we also have a seasonal vegetable risotto that's incredibly popular. And for dessert, you can't miss our homemade chocolate lava cake." Mia's mouth watered at the thought of the rich, gooey dessert. "That sounds amazing. I'll have the salmon," she said, feeling more relaxed. "And the lava cake for dessert, please." Jordan nodded in agreement. "I'll take the same, and we'll both have the risotto as a side." "Great choices. I'll get that in for you," the waiter said before heading back inside. Mia watched as the waiter moved through the bustling restaurant, weaving in and out of the crowd. The atmosphere was lively, filled with laughter and the clinking of glasses. For a moment, she allowed herself to be swept up in the joy around them. As they waited for their food, the earlier tension began to dissipate. Jordan leaned back in his chair, glancing around the patio. "You know," he said, a mischievous smile creeping onto his face, "I can't believe how lucky we are. Just a few months ago, we were both wondering how we'd make ends meet, and now look at us. We're about to be parents." Mia chuckled softly, appreciating his lightheartedness. "Yeah, it feels surreal, doesn't it? I still can't believe we're going to be a family." Their conversation flowed effortlessly, shifting from their hopes and dreams to playful banter about parenting. They laughed about the sleepless nights ahead and shared stories of their own childhoods, imagining the kind of parents they wanted to be. But just as Mia began to relax, she noticed a couple sitting at the adjacent table. They were engrossed in conversation, but Mia couldn't help but overhear snippets of their discussion. The woman's laughter rang out, followed by her companion's dismissive remarks about people who looked out of place. Mia's heart sank. It was as if the woman's words were directed at her, and she could feel the sting of judgment creeping back in. Why did it matter what others thought? "Are you okay?" Jordan asked, breaking her train of thought. "Yeah," Maya lied, forcing a smile. I overheard something." "Let it go. We're here for us, remember?" he said, squeezing her hand. His reassurance was comforting, yet she couldn't shake the feeling of being under scrutiny. As they continued their meal, the food was delicious, and they both enjoyed the warm flavors of the salmon and risotto. Mia closed her eyes, savoring the taste, allowing herself to get lost in the moment. She took a deep breath, inhaling the aroma of herbs and spices wafting through the air, letting it soothe her frazzled nerves. However, as they finished their main course, the waiter returned with the dessert. "And here's your chocolate lava cake, just like I promised." He placed the dessert on the table, and Mia's eyes lit up as the warm chocolate center oozed out, glistening under the restaurant lights. Jordan grinned as they both dug in, enjoying the rich flavors. "This is amazing," he exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with delight. "I knew you'd love it." As they savored their dessert, Mia's phone buzzed again. It was a message from her mother, asking how the day was going. Mia quickly typed back, "We finally got seated. The food is delicious. Can't wait for you to try it." Just then, Jordan's phone buzzed too. He pulled it out, and his expression shifted from casual enjoyment to surprise. "What's wrong?" Maya asked, sensing the change in his demeanor. "It's my boss," he said, reading the text quickly. "He wants to know if I can come in for a meeting tomorrow morning." Mia's heart sank. "You just got the day off for this, right?" "I did, but I can't ignore this," Jordan replied, his brow furrowing in concern. "I'll just have to tell him I can't come in early. They need me to finalize some project details, but this was supposed to be our day." Mia felt a mix of frustration and disappointment. "It's always something, isn't it?" she said, feeling the weight of their responsibilities creeping back in. "Hey, it's just one meeting," Jordan reassured her, his voice steady. "We'll make this work. Besides, I'll be back before you know it." Mia nodded, trying to push away her feelings of disappointment. They were entering a new phase of life, and she knew there would be countless challenges ahead. As they finished their dessert, the atmosphere at the restaurant began to shift. Laughter echoed around them, but it felt distant, as if they were in a bubble separate from the rest of the world. "Shall we get the check?" Mia suggested, wanting to take back control of the situation. "Absolutely," Jordan replied, his focus shifting back to her. "I'm glad we came out today, despite the bumps along the way." Just as the waiter approached with the check, Mia noticed a commotion at the entrance of the restaurant. A group of people had gathered, their faces lit with excitement. Mia could hear snippets of conversation, something about a celebrity dining there that evening. Mia leaned closer to Jordan, curiosity piqued. "Who's that?" she asked, nodding toward the entrance. "I have no idea," he replied, squinting to see better. "But it looks like everyone wants a glimpse." The buzz of excitement in the restaurant was palpable, and Maya felt a spark of intrigue. It was nice to see everyone united by something other than judgment. As the waiter finished processing their payment, Mia and Jordan stood to leave. Just before they stepped out, she caught a glimpse of the commotion at the entrance. It was a well-known actress, surrounded by a group of fans eager for selfies and autographs. "Wow," Maya said, her eyes widening. "That's unexpected." Jordan chuckled. "Seems like we picked a good night to be here after all." As they walked out of culinary bliss, The warmth of the sun enveloped them once again, but this time it felt different. It was as if the excitement of the evening had washed away some of the negativity from earlier. They made their way to the car, hand in hand, and Maya felt a renewed sense of hope. "Let's go home and start planning the nursery," Jordan suggested, his voice brightening as they climbed into the car. Mia grinned, picturing the room filled with soft colors, tiny clothes, and laughter. "I'd love that," she replied, her heart swelling with anticipation. As they drove away from the restaurant, Mia took one last glance in the rearview mirror at culinary bliss. Despite the rocky start to their evening, they had come together as a couple, and she felt grateful for the love and support they shared. But in the back of her mind, she couldn't help but wonder how that night would ripple through their lives, and those of others in ways they couldn't yet comprehend. As Mia and Jordan drove away from culinary bliss, the buzz of the evening hung in the air like the fading warmth of the sun. Maya leaned against the window, watching the streetlights flicker to life as they passed by. The city, usually bustling with energy, seemed to blend into a blur of colors. Reds, yellows, and soft blues, each representing a different story waiting to be told. "Can you believe we're actually going to be parents?" Jordan asked, breaking the comfortable silence that had settled in the car. His tone was a mix of excitement and disbelief. "I know, right? It feels like just yesterday we were talking about how to save up for diapers," Maya replied with a smile, her heart fluttering at the thought. "And now we're actually planning for a nursery." "Speaking of which," Jordan said, turning onto their street, "we need to pick out a color scheme. Do you want pastels or something more vibrant?" Mia pondered for a moment. "I've always loved the idea of soft greens and yellows. They feel so calming and fresh." "Soft greens it is," he agreed, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "I can already picture it. A little rocking chair, some stuffed animals, and of course, a crib." As they pulled into their driveway, Mia's phone buzzed again. She glanced at the screen and saw a message from her best friend, Jenna, checking in on them after the restaurant incident. Mia quickly typed back, "Hey, we're home. Dinner was good, despite a rocky start. Can't wait to tell you all about it." After grabbing their bags from the car, they stepped into the house, the familiar scent of home wrapping around them like a cozy blanket. Jordan dropped his keys on the counter and turned to Mia, his expression shifting from lighthearted excitement to something more serious. "Mia, about today. I know things got a bit intense at the restaurant, but I want you to know I'm here for you," he said, sincerity etched on his face. "I don't want you to feel like you're going through this alone." She smiled at his support, feeling a wave of gratitude wash over her. "Thank you, Jordan. It means a lot to me. I don't want this experience to change us or how we feel about each other." "It won't," he promised, stepping closer to her. "We're a team, and we'll navigate this together." As they settled in for the evening, Maya felt a renewed sense of hope. They decided to make a list of baby names together, filling the kitchen with laughter and playful debates over their favorites. "How about Malik for a boy?" Jordan suggested, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "And for a girl, I was thinking Amara." Mia chuckled, playfully rolling her eyes. "Malik is nice, but Amara sounds like a name for a soap opera star. We need something unique but also practical." They continued discussing names, their bond strengthening with each shared laugh. The atmosphere was light, and for the first time that evening, Maya felt free of the burdens that had weighed heavily on her shoulders. However, as they settled down for bed, the earlier events lingered in the back of Mia's mind. She tossed and turned, her thoughts replaying the scenes at the restaurant. The hostess's dismissive attitude haunted her, and she couldn't shake the feeling of being devalued simply because of her circumstances. "What's on your mind?" Jordan asked, his voice cutting through the silence of the night. "Just thinking about today," Maya replied softly. "About how people can be so quick to judge without knowing anything about us." Jordan turned to face her, concern etched on his face. "You know it doesn't matter what others think, right? We know who we are and what we're building together. That's what counts. I know, but it's hard not to feel that weight, especially when I'm already feeling vulnerable," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "Then let's turn that weight into something powerful," he suggested, pulling her closer. "Let's use it to fuel our journey as parents and create a more compassionate world for our child." Mia nodded, feeling comforted by his words. "You're right. I want our child to grow up in a world where kindness and understanding are at the forefront. It's just going to take time." The two drifted off to sleep, the sounds of the city fading into the background. Mia's dreams were a mix of soft lullabies and colorful nursery designs, a testament to the excitement and uncertainty that lay ahead. The next day, the following morning, dawned bright and sunny, a stark contrast to the weight Mia felt as she faced the day. She decided to take a walk to clear her mind, hoping the fresh air would lift her spirits. She slipped on a comfortable pair of shoes and stepped outside, inhaling the scents of blooming flowers and fresh grass. As she walked through their neighborhood, she found solace in the familiar sights and sounds, the laughter of children playing, the distant hum of traffic, and the warm greetings from neighbors. Each interaction reminded her of the community they were part of, which offered a sense of belonging. But as she turned a corner, she spotted a familiar figure seated on a bench, a homeless woman with a weathered face and tired eyes. Mia's heart sank. It was the same woman she had seen at the restaurant the day before, waiting in the sun, just like she had. The irony was palpable. Mia hesitated for a moment, considering her next move. Should she say something? Would it make a difference? She knew all too well the judgments people often placed on others without understanding their circumstances. "Hi there," she finally said, forcing herself to step forward. "Do you mind if I join you?" The woman looked up, surprise flickering in her eyes. "Not at all," she replied, her voice a raspy whisper. "I could use the company." As Mia settled onto the bench, she felt a connection form between them. "My name is Mia," she introduced herself. "I saw you at the restaurant yesterday. How are you doing today?" The woman sighed, a heavy breath that seemed to carry the weight of her struggles. "I'm hanging in there. Some days are better than others. I had to find a spot to rest away from the heat. It can be tough out here." Mia nodded, her heart aching for this woman who was so often overlooked. "I can't imagine what you go through. It's a tough world out there." "Tell me about it," the woman said, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I used to have a home, a job, everything. Life can change in an instant." Mia listened intently as the woman shared her story, how she had fallen on hard times after losing her job, and how the spiral of circumstances had led her to the streets. She spoke with a raw honesty that tugged at Mia's heart. "I didn't want to end up here, but sometimes you don't have a choice," the woman confessed, her voice tinged with sadness. "People don't realize how quickly things can change." Mia felt tears pricking at the corners of her eyes. "You're so right," she said softly. "One moment, everything is fine. And then, just like that, everything can fall apart." Suddenly, the memories of her own struggles flashed before her. She recalled the uncertainty and fear they had faced when they first learned about the pregnancy. But even amidst their fears, they had each other, something the woman before her lacked. "Is there anything I can do to help?" Mia asked, her heart swelling with compassion. "Do you need food or anything?" The woman looked taken aback, as if no one had ever offered help before. "I don't want to burden you," she said hesitantly. "But a little food would be nice." Without thinking twice, Mia reached into her bag, pulling out the granola bar she had packed for her walk. "Here, take this. It's not much, but it's something." The woman accepted it with a grateful smile, her eyes reflecting a mix of surprise and appreciation. "Thank you. You have no idea how much this means to me." They continued to talk, and Mia learned about the woman's dreams of getting back on her feet, the family she had lost touch with, and the simple joys of life she missed most. Each shared story served as a reminder of humanity's fragility, the interconnectedness of lives that often go unseen. As their conversation came to a close, Maya felt a sense of fulfillment that she hadn't expected. "I hope you find your way back," she said earnestly. "You deserve happiness and stability." The woman smiled softly, a glimmer of hope lighting up her face. "Thank you for listening. Most people just walk past. It's nice to feel seen for a change." Mia stood up, her heart swelling with a mix of emotions. "I'll be thinking of you, and if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here." With a final wave, Mia walked away, her thoughts racing. The encounter had reignited something within her, a determination to be a voice for those who felt invisible, a reminder of the struggles many face, often hidden in plain sight. The days passed quickly after Mia's chance encounter with the homeless woman. She couldn't shake the impact it had on her, both emotionally and mentally. Each time she saw a news story about homelessness or a brief mention of struggles in their city, her thoughts drifted back to that bench, where a simple act of kindness had sparked a deeper understanding of the human experience. Jordan noticed the change in her as well. During their nightly conversations, she often reflected on their future child and the values she wanted to instill. "I want our baby to grow up knowing that every person has a story, a struggle that shapes them," she confided one evening as they sat together on their couch. "I want them to understand empathy and compassion, to never look at someone and assume they know their life." Jordan nodded, intrigued by her passion. "That's a beautiful perspective, Mia. Maybe we can find a way to give back. We could volunteer or donate to a local shelter. It's one thing to have compassion. It's another to put it into action." Mia's eyes lit up at the suggestion. "Yes, I'd love that. It would be a great way to teach our child the importance of community and kindness. Plus, it might help us connect with people who have experienced things we can only imagine." As the weekend approached, Mia and Jordan began researching local charities and shelters. They settled on a community center that provided meals and support services for those in need. Excited about their decision, they signed up to volunteer that Saturday, feeling a sense of purpose wash over them. When the day arrived, Mia donned a comfortable outfit and laced up her sneakers, her excitement palpable. "I can't wait to meet everyone and see how we can help," she exclaimed, her energy infectious. Jordan grinned, matching her enthusiasm. "Let's do this. We'll make a difference, even if it's just for one person." Upon arriving at the community center, they were greeted by the smell of simmering soups and freshly baked bread, a welcoming aroma that immediately made Mia feel at home. The center was buzzing with activity. Volunteers of all ages were setting up tables, organizing donations, and preparing for the meal service that would begin shortly. "Welcome," a cheerful woman in her 50s said, introducing herself as Lisa, the volunteer coordinator. "We're so glad to have you both here. Today's menu includes chicken soup, sandwiches, and some delicious dessert. Your help will make a big difference." Mia and Jordan wasted no time. They jumped in, helping to set up the dining area, arranging chairs, and filling tables with utensils and napkins. As they worked, Maya felt a sense of camaraderie among the volunteers, a shared mission that transcended their differences. Once the preparations were complete, the doors opened, and the first guests began to arrive. Mia's heart swelled as she watched people from all walks of life come through the doors. Some looked weary, while others carried a sense of hope in their eyes. The room quickly filled with conversations, laughter, and the occasional heartfelt hug exchanged between friends who hadn't seen each other in a while. Maya served food at the counter, her heart warmed by the smiles of those she interacted with. "Here you go. 1 chicken soup and a sandwich," she said, handing a tray to a man who looked tired but grateful. "Enjoy." "Thank you, young lady. God bless you," he replied, his eyes lighting up at the kindness shown to him. Jordan, stationed next to her, was equally engaged. He shared a joke with a group of teenagers who came in, his easygoing nature winning over the young crowd. Laughter erupted as they teased each other about favorite sports teams and games. As the meal service progressed, Mia caught a glimpse of a familiar face among the crowd, a face she recognized instantly. It was the homeless woman from the bench, Ella. Her heart raced at the sight. Was she here for a meal? Did she remember their conversation? Mia's instincts kicked in, and she excused herself from the counter, weaving through the tables to reach Ella. The woman looked different today, slightly cleaner, her clothes a bit more presentable. There was a lightness to her that Mia hadn't noticed before. "Ella," Mia exclaimed, a smile spreading across her face. "It's so good to see you again. How are you?" Ella turned to her, surprise etched on her features. "Mia, I didn't expect to see you here. I'm doing a bit better. I found a temporary shelter where I can stay for now. It's not much, but it's a start." Mia's heart swelled with happiness. "That's amazing news. I'm so proud of you. Are you feeling okay?" "Yeah, I am," Ella replied, a hint of vulnerability in her voice. "It's still tough, but I'm hopeful. I met some wonderful people who have been helping me find resources. Would you like to join us for a meal?" Mia asked, gesturing toward the serving line. "It's really good, and you're welcome to stay as long as you'd like." Ella's eyes shimmered with gratitude. "Thank you, Mia. I'd love that." As they walked to the serving counter, Mia introduced Ella to Jordan, who greeted her with a warm smile. "Nice to meet you, Ella. I've heard a lot about you from Mia." They shared a brief conversation while waiting in line, Jordan's charm easing the atmosphere and making Ella feel comfortable. Once they reached the counter, Mia insisted on serving her a meal. "This is all on me," Mia said with a grin, dishing out the soup and sandwich with care. "I want you to enjoy this meal." Ella's eyes widened, overwhelmed by Mia's kindness. "You don't have to do that. I can pay for my meal." "Not a chance," Mia insisted playfully, handing her the tray. "Just enjoy it." They settled at a nearby table, and as they ate, Mia and Jordan listened intently to Ella's stories. She spoke of her dreams of becoming a graphic designer and how she once had a passion for art that had been sidelined due to life's challenges. Each tale was woven with both sorrow and hope, painting a vivid picture of her resilience. Mia felt a deep connection with Ella, realizing that her struggles echoed the dreams they both shared. As they talked, she learned that Ella had a few sketches she carried with her, sketches of whimsical characters that reflected her vibrant imagination. "Maybe you could share them with me sometime," Mia suggested, her heart racing with excitement. "I'd love to see your work." Ella's eyes sparkled. "Really? You'd want to see my art?" "Absolutely. Art is a beautiful expression of who we are, and I'd love to help you showcase it," Mia encouraged. "You have a gift, and it deserves to be shared." With newfound determination, Ella nodded, her spirit lifting. "Thank you, Mia. That means the world to me." As the meal wound down, the atmosphere in the community center remained vibrant. Laughter echoed through the hall as people shared stories and camaraderie. Jordan turned to Mia, his eyes reflecting pride. "You're really making a difference, aren't you? Just by being yourself." Mia smiled, feeling a sense of fulfillment she hadn't experienced before. "I want our child to see that kindness matters, that every little act can change a life." As the day drew to a close and the guests began to leave, Mia felt a sense of satisfaction wash over her. She had not only connected with Ella, but also contributed to something larger than herself, a community of support and love. Later that night, as they settled in at home, Mia and Jordan reflected on their experiences at the community center. "I didn't expect to feel so moved by everything," Mia confessed. "It's like my heart opened up in ways I didn't know it could." Jordan nodded, wrapping his arm around her. "It's incredible what we can learn from others. Everyone has a story, and sometimes it just takes a little kindness to bring it out." Mia smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. "I can't wait to continue this journey with you, to teach our child about the beauty of compassion." Their conversation flowed into the night, a promise of future endeavors etched in their minds. Little did they know, the impact of their kindness was far-reaching, rippling through their community in ways they had yet to understand. As the scene closes, the underlying themes of kindness, empathy, and the interconnectedness of lives are brought to the forefront, setting the stage for the final part of the story, where the ultimate culmination of their efforts will come to fruition. Part 6. The Ripple Effect of Kindness. As the final guests filtered out of the community center, the warm glow of the event lingered in the air, almost palpable. Mia stood back, surveying the remnants of the exhibition, and felt a deep sense of satisfaction settle within her. The walls, once bare and uninspiring, now bore witness to Ella's vibrant artwork and the stories that had touched everyone who walked through those doors. It was a celebration of resilience, creativity, and above all, community. Ella, still buzzing with adrenaline, was surrounded by a few remaining friends who were admiring her artwork. Mia watched as she engaged with them, her laughter spilling forth like music, and it filled Mia's heart with joy. This was the Ella she had hoped to see, the confident, inspiring woman who had fought through adversity to claim her space in the world. "Mia," Ella called, breaking away from her friends. "Can you believe how many people showed up? I never expected this." Mia grinned, walking over to her. "I knew they would love your work. You have a gift, Ella. It deserves to be shared." "Thanks to you and Jordan," Ella said, her voice thick with emotion. "I don't think I would have had the courage to do this without your support. You two have changed my life." Mia waved her hand dismissively, though she felt a warmth spreading through her chest. "You did all the hard work. We just helped you open the door." Ella paused, her expression serious. "But it's more than just this night. You've given me hope and a platform. It's like I can finally breathe again." Their conversation was interrupted as Jordan joined them, a broad smile plastered across his face. "Did you see the way people were reacting to your pieces, Ella? They loved the stories behind them. I think you have a real future in art." Ella's eyes sparkled with excitement. "You really think so? I'd love to start taking commissions, maybe even teaching art classes." "Why not?" Mia encouraged, her mind racing with possibilities. "This could be the start of a whole new chapter for you. Imagine holding workshops for other aspiring artists in the community." Ella's face lit up with enthusiasm. "That would be amazing. I can't wait to help others find their voice through art. I just never thought I could inspire someone else." "You already have," Jordan chimed in. "There are people out there who can relate to your story. You've got a real gift, and your experiences make your art even more powerful." As the trio continued to talk about Ella's newfound dreams, Mia felt a familiar tingle of inspiration. They shared ideas for art classes and community outreach programs, brainstorming ways to expand Ella's artistic reach and engage with local youth who might be facing similar challenges. "Let's do this," Mia declared, her excitement palpable. "Let's reach out to schools, community centers, and local art galleries. We can start an initiative to bring art education to underserved kids. Your story could inspire them to create, just like you did." Ella nodded, her eyes wide with possibility. "I love that idea. We could even organize a mentorship program, pairing young artists with more experienced ones. There's so much potential here." With newfound determination, they laid out a plan to begin this initiative. Over the next few weeks, they would draft proposals, seek partnerships with local organizations, and arrange to hold free workshops. Maya felt a sense of urgency. This was a chance to impact lives, and she couldn't let it slip away. As the event drew to a close and the last of the guests waved their goodbyes, Ella pulled Mia and Jordan in for a tight hug. "I can't thank you enough for everything. You've given me a second chance, and I'm going to make the most of it." Mia's heart swelled. "You're the one who's going to inspire others, Ella. We're just here to support you. You're a force of nature." That night, as Mia lay in bed, she reflected on how a single act of kindness, the invitation to Ella, had triggered a cascade of events that transformed not just Ella's life, but the lives of everyone in their community. She thought about the power of connection, how one person's vulnerability could spark hope in others, and how together they could create a space for everyone to flourish. A few weeks later, the sun shone brightly on the day of their first art workshop. Maya stood outside the community center, heart racing with anticipation. She was helping with the logistics, setting up tables, arranging art supplies, and preparing for the influx of excited young artists. Jordan arrived, rolling in a cart filled with brushes, paints, and canvases. "Everything looks great," Jordan said, surveying the setup. "I can't believe how quickly this came together. Are you ready for the kids?" "Absolutely. I can't wait to see their reactions," Maya replied, her smile beaming. As the hour approached, a few parents began to arrive with their children, each one filled with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Mia greeted them warmly, offering encouragement and reassurance. "Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Today is all about exploring your creativity and having fun with art," she announced, her enthusiasm infectious. When Ella arrived, the energy in the room shifted. She stepped in with a quiet confidence, carrying herself differently than before. The previous nerves had transformed into a sense of purpose, and her smile radiated warmth. "Hey everyone," Ella called, her voice steady and clear. "I'm so happy to see all of you today. We're going to have an amazing time creating art together." Mia watched as Ella effortlessly connected with the kids, engaging them with stories about her own experiences and how art had been a refuge during difficult times. The children listened intently, captivated by her authenticity. "Art can express things we sometimes can't put into words," Ella explained. "It's a way to share who you are with the world." The kids dove into the activities with excitement. They painted, sketched, and laughed, transforming blank canvases into vibrant expressions of their thoughts and feelings. Ella moved around the room, offering guidance, encouragement, and laughter. Maya felt her heart swell with pride, realizing how far Ella had come since that fateful day at the restaurant. As the workshop progressed, Mia caught snippets of conversations among the children. They shared stories, dreams, and ideas, creating an environment that felt safe and welcoming. The walls of the community center echoed with joy, a testament to the impact of art and community spirit. At the end of the workshop, the children displayed their creations proudly. Ella facilitated a mini exhibition, inviting the kids to present their artwork and share the inspiration behind it. Mia's eyes brimmed with tears of joy as she listened to their words. These young artists were finding their voices and embracing their creativity. Today was amazing. One little girl exclaimed, her eyes shining. "I didn't know I could paint like this." Ella knelt down beside her, beaming with pride. "You absolutely can. Your imagination is limitless, and I can't wait to see what you create next." As the event wrapped up, Mia and Ella shared a moment of reflection. "This is just the beginning, isn't it?" Maya said, a spark of excitement in her voice. Ella nodded, her eyes filled with determination. "It is. We're going to keep building on this. I want to reach even more kids and inspire them to express themselves through art." That evening, as they cleaned up, Ella turned to Mia. "I want to thank you for believing in me and for encouraging me to pursue this path. I never thought I could make a difference, but now I see it's possible." Mia smiled, feeling a rush of gratitude for the journey they had shared. "You're the one making the difference, Ella. You have the power to change lives, and I can't wait to see where this journey takes you." Looking ahead, months passed, and the initiative grew steadily. Ella began conducting regular workshops, each one attracting more children eager to explore their creativity. The ripple effect of kindness that began with a simple invitation had transformed into a powerful movement within the community. Mia and Jordan continued to support Ella, helping to coordinate events and reach out to local schools and organizations. They created a website showcasing Ella's art and the stories of the young artists she inspired, drawing attention from the media and local art enthusiasts. Ella's story became a beacon of hope, demonstrating how one individual's journey could uplift an entire community. People began sharing their own experiences of kindness and resilience, fostering a culture of compassion and understanding. One day, as they prepared for another workshop, Maya received an unexpected call from a local news station. They wanted to feature Ella's story as part of a segment on inspiring community initiatives. Maya felt a surge of pride as she thought of how far they had come. When the day of the interview arrived, Mia and Jordan stood by Ella's side, watching as she confidently shared her journey with the camera crew. She spoke passionately about her art, the workshops, and the impact of kindness that had changed her life. "Art has the power to heal," Ella said, her voice steady. "It allows us to connect with ourselves and each other. I want to show every child that they can express their emotions and stories through creativity." As the interview concluded, Mia's heart swelled with pride. Ella was not just an artist. She was a leader, a mentor, and a source